One of the key principal factors in creating beautiful images is being creative, and sometimes it gets hard, but how can you get over that to create the best out of your images? Hi, my name is Brains from Brains Africa in a new tutorial of how to create SNOOT light effect in Photoshop. Basically, we're going to be working upon three images. They're going to be three images, and we're going to be learning different methods on how you can achieve different SNOOT lighting effects basically in Photoshop. So as you can see, we are having different lightings that have been created still basically in Photoshop. The first thing that I will do is I'll go to my exposure, and then I'll bring down my exposure, pump up my grammar correction. After that, I will use my brush, use the hard brush, and then I'll make a hard stroke. That's once. After when I'm done with that, as you can see, I will move back to my mask. I'll bring in the feather. Basically, the feather makes it look a little bit realistic, as you can see. So I've put in a feather. I'll come to my levels, bring in some midtones. I think that would be definitely enough, plus my shadows once at around radius of 3. After that, I'll move to my brightness. I'll bring up my contrast at around 20, 21. As you can see, we are having something like this. So I'll group it down, and this is the before and this is the after. So we are having a new image here, and see, we are going to use the same formula. Move back to my exposure, bring down my exposure, pump up my grammar correction, and get my brush, still the hard brush. Hardness should be very high, and then I'll make a circle. That's a circle using my brush. As you can see, I've made it to the eyes. I'll bring in something new, that's the fill or the feather, and this time around I'll play with 2.4 pixels. After that, I'll go to my Gaussian blur, bring in blur. Since this is definitely pointing to the eyes, I need to make it look like it's more realistic, as if it was a studio strobe. That's a SNOOT. And then after, I'll come to my brightness / contrast adjustment layer, bring down my brightness and the contrast too. As you can see, we're having such a feel. Still come back to my levels, and then I'm gonna bring in my midtones plus the shadows too at around this time +5. So I'm going to group this down, and then when I'm done with that, I'm going to come to my selective colors. Since I brought in much contrast in the reds, I'll take the reds out in the blacks to maintain a beautiful lace of the concentrated image. Yeah, definitely. And then I'm having this, which will be our final image. So basically, as I did it in the first images, I'll definitely do the same, but this time around I'm going to make a little bit many strobe slashes of my brush, and then I've made some gradients about squares of 8 by 4. So when I'm done with that, I'll come back to my mask, and then I bring in my feather, this time round to 3.27 points, 2.7. It depends on what you feel like you want. And then I'll add on my Gaussian blur. When I'm done with that, I'll come back to my brightness / contrast, bring down my brightness, and add my contrast. So basically, I want to create a feel of a window, like somebody was having light or receiving light from a window. Basically, I bring in my levels in the shadows. This time around, not the midtones. Okay, let me bring it a little bit to make it look a little bit realistic too. So, but bring in more of the shadows. As you can see, basically, I'm going to group this down, and then yeah, we're having this. I can add up my selective colors still, but this time bring down the yellows in the blacks to make it look a little bit more realistic. Basically, this is what we're having. I'm gonna put down the opacity at around 76. So we're having this, as you can see. Coming back to my images, we're having different types of lightings being done here. So basically, I'm gonna add still on here a new Gaussian blur fill. I'm seeing something new, something very good. So I can definitely bring it more of another copy. That's Ctrl J on your keyboard. So I'll put down the opacity to make the light look more harsh. So thank you for watching our video. See you in the next one.